Welcome back to Mindset Monday. This is the show where Chris Lavin comes to you live. This is an eight-figure entrepreneur. I literally watched this man, through God's help, pull off a miracle last week, like literal miracle. He can tell about it. You guys can ask him questions on it, but this man with business and real estate, he is the one. Okay, and he's going to get into some mindset topics today. Stick around. Oftentimes, he'll answer some questions at the end. So if you've got questions for him, you can throw them in the chat throughout, and then I'll be sure to read them off to him. All right, Bruce, let's bring him up.
And now, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Presenting the master of the real estate deal and entrepreneur champion of the world, Chris, the negotiator Levin.
You know, I love that intro. It still to this day gives me a chuckle. And here's the crazy thing, man. I have my grandson. He was with us the past couple of weeks, and he saw that, and he's seen himself here sometimes when we put him up, and he literally thinks his grandfather. He calls me Toots. Is a celebrity. I think it's the cutest thing in the world. Listen, one thing about my personality, you got to know, is that I am very direct. And today I want to talk to you about saying what needs to be said before it's too late. I'm going to get right into it because it fits the theme of this message, right? I want to talk to you about something that costs most people more than they realize. It's called unspoken feedback. A compliment you thought of but you didn't give to somebody. The business problem you danced around instead of naming and going at it directly. It's costing you every single time. Listen, if you've been here before, you know my style. I'm as direct as they come. You can ask my wife, Karen. It blows her mind. And the worst part, it's not just costing you. It's costing everybody around you. It's costing the person you're being indirect with. It's costing your partners. It's costing your relationships. The people you're being indirect with need to hear the truth. They want to know where they stand. Employees, partners, like people want to know where they stand with you. One of the things that I know for sure is brutal honesty or direct honesty without a little bit of compassion is just cruelty. But you still have to deliver that honest, direct message. It's necessary. Let me tell you a story from the Bible. There was this king, and y'all might know him. His name is David. Powerful, successful. Everybody loved him. He'd been chosen by God, and he did something terrible. We all know what he did, right? He slept with another man's wife, and then he made it so that guy was killed in the battlefield to cover it up. Then he married the woman and moved on with his life. Nobody in his kingdom was going to confront him. He was the king. Then a prophet named Nathan, the Nathan in the other room? No. A prophet named Nathan walked into his palace. Nathan now technically was underneath David. He served David. He didn't outrank him, and he had no political weapons against him. He couldn't fire David, nor could he force him out in any way, shape, or form. What he had was the truth and the courage to say it out loud. Nathan didn't lead with the accusation, though. He was a wise man. He was a very wise man. He told David a story about a rich man who owned entire flocks and a poor man who owned but one small lamb. He said the rich man had guests, but to feed him, he didn't want to slaughter one of his many sheep, so he took the poor man's lamb and cooked it. David went ziggity boom. He was furious. He said the rich man deserved to die and demanded to know who this man was. Nathan looked him in the eye and said 4 words, just 4 words that changed David's life. You are that man. Nathan didn't dance around it. He didn't wait for a better moment. He didn't send an email, drop a hint, maybe a text, or hope someone else would deliver the message. He walked into the throne room of the most powerful person in the country, told the truth to his face, and named him. David broke. He didn't have Nathan killed, and he didn't argue. He wrote what became one of the most vulnerable prayers in the Bible. Because deep down, David knew he needed someone who would say the thing to him that needed to be said. We all do. Listen, in my life, I don't want yes men around me. I need people to challenge my decisions if I'm wrong. I need people to tell me that I'm off the track. I need that. So let me bring this home for you. We live in a world that confuses kindness with silence. Man, we've been taught that if we can't say something nice, we shouldn't say anything. That protecting people's feelings is the loving thing to do. I disagree. Directness is not rude, and holding back is not just graceful. All of it, almost all of that is wrong. When you have feedback for someone and you don't give it to them, you're stealing from them. You're stealing the chance to grow, to correct their life course, and you're robbing them of the clarity they need to make the decisions about their own life. Listen, if you really love somebody and you're in a relationship with them, and I don't mean just romantic love, but if you are in a relationship with someone, the Bible tells us steel sharpens steel, right? We challenge each other. We always bring those things out that we need brought out so that we can change, that we can correct. But man, like, I don't understand why people don't do that. If you're leading a team, do the people who work for you know where they stand with you? Do they know that what you're proud of them for? Do they know what needs to change? Or are they just continually guessing? If you're building a business with a partner, does your partner know the truth about how you feel the deal is going? Or you're protecting them from information they need to make the right call? If you're married, does your spouse, do they know what's happening inside of you? The things that are working, the things that aren't, the things you appreciate that they've never heard you say out loud? Ask yourself honestly, because the truth most people miss is this. Directness isn't just about hard conversations, it's about all conversations. The praise you never said, the love you assumed they already knew. The good news is you can start today. You have to say that thing. If it's a concern, say it. If it's a compliment, name it. If it's a question, ask it. If it's the truth, tell it. The most loving thing you can do for someone is say what they need to hear. The hard version and the good stuff. Even scripture backs this up. Proverbs 27:5 says, better is open rebuke than hidden love. So, in a world of assumptions, clarity wins. Be the leader who says what needs to be said. Do two things this week. Name the unsaid thing. Write down what you would say if you were brave enough to just say it. And give the compliment you've held back. There's something in your life, there's someone in your life that's doing something right, and you've never told them. Change that. And remember that people aren't mind readers, and not letting them know what you're thinking, and then having them live up to, or wanting them to live up to an expectation that they don't have is not fair. Put yourself out there. People are so afraid of being confrontational that it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But if you're direct but kind, people will respect you for it. Not only that, with those words, you're investing in people. And remember that our words are very powerful, even from a biblical sense. Remember, God spoke into existence everything. Words matter. Use them wisely, use them with love, but use them, and use them effectively. Thank you all for listening.
Beautiful, Chris. You good for a few questions?
Sure, make it happen.
Okay, guys, this is your chance. Put your question in the chat. We'll keep your name anonymous. I'll just read your question out loud. That way there you can get an answer directly from Chris. Chris, this is someone shopping for real estate new. What type of property should I buy? And do I base it on the area or do I base it on the potential?
Believe it or not, as simple as that question may sound, it's actually very complicated. There's a whole bunch of factors that need to go into the consideration for that acquisition. First is, what's your experience level? Do you have experience in taking a distressed property and raising it up? If you don't, partner with somebody that does. That's one way to do it. You always, always, always need to consider the area, because sometimes properties from yesterday that were great properties are not great properties tomorrow. So you always got to factor that in. And that's one of the things that we teach in our academy is that we teach people all the circumstances around an acquisition, including, employment history, whether or not population is going up or down, are people moving there or they're not moving there, that kind of thing. This is a pretty complex question that I don't want to give you an answer right now, have you run off and buy a property and then fall on your face. I would definitely, sounds like you're inexperienced, partner with somebody that has previous experience and allow them to guide you.
Chris, next one. Is this a good time to sell land?
It depends on the type of land and where it is. Right now, I'm looking at a bunch of land in Nebraska, just outside of the city of Kearney, which, believe it or not, is the absolute middle of the country. That's turning into this convention, like freak of nature convention area, because I guess it's right in the middle of the country. But they don't have any substantial airports. So right now is a great time to sell land because it's actually on the rise. But you've got to find the right developer that's looking for the right place and have the right property. If you're looking to sell a big piece of land, Nate is very development risk adverse. I'm going to try my hand at a certain type of development, and that's for low cost housing for people who need it. And I'm not going to do it with investors' money, only my own money. So reach out and maybe I can talk.
Chris, next one. We have gone through the program. There's 10 ways to find properties. Which way do you think is the best way to find motivated property sellers?
Ha. So one of my unique gifts, is that once I find a seller, I can help motivate them to sell. I know that sounds a little bit flippant and a little bit arrogant, but it's the truth. And the reason that I'm able to do that is because I literally approach our negotiations as, how can I help or serve this person? I need to know what their needs are, right? Are they looking for cash? Are they looking to get rid of some taxes? Yada, yada, yada. So I can take any seller and turn him into a motivated seller. But I don't think that's really the question you're asking. I think you're looking for me to tell you the secret to finding those properties that show up for us. I can 100% guarantee you the best way to do that is to build a relationship with brokers so that they know that you'll commit, they'll know that you'll transact, and they'll know that you're going to make it across the line. And unfortunately, that takes a long, long time. But calling all the brokers on Crexy and stuff to find out what they have that's not on Crexy, LoopNet, those kinds of places, is the best way to build relationships. And really, just being relentless on the phone and just calling till you find that deal that works, and then you got to negotiate the best deal on your behalf.
Chris, could I even try to dig a little bit deeper to help this person?
Please.
So you've developed a really good skill set talking to a broker, and you're able to break down barriers and convince them in the first 2 minutes of any call that you're the guy, you'll close it. So then they feel confident taking you to the seller. How about someone that's new or newer? How do they develop that rapport with the broker so that the broker is going to go and say, yeah, this is the guy, he'll get it done, or this is the gal, they'll get it done?
I can only answer that from my own perspective. Everybody has got a certain set of tools and things that they've been blessed with. I've been blessed with the ability to think quickly on my feet and use comedy or humor to break down the barriers of any kind of broker. And there's a video circulating in my TikTok and YouTube right now that is just like a broker's trying to ask me, well, where's your capital stack? How much you're raising? And blah, 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 blah. And I literally look at the guy and say, nope. I'm not answering those questions. They're not important to this conversation. So what I'm trying to tell you is this. I would highly, highly, highly recommend role playing with somebody. Developing your own style. Don't use my style. My style works for me. But continuing role playing. And the only way to get good at something is to practice doing it well. Practice doing it well. That's how you get good at it. Just practice doing it doesn't do it. Practice doing it well does it. So role playing, getting comfortable with those questions. We've got scripts in our academy. Every answer is there. Every one of them. We go back and look at them every now and then, every 6 months or so, and we add or change based on our experience. But practice, practice, practice. When I first started, I called all those deals on oh, these poor people, on Craigslist and LoopNet that I knew I was never going to buy. And I practiced, 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 because if I fell on my face, I didn't care because it was a deal I didn't want. But let me tell you, I practice, 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 practice. That's all I can really offer you.
Chris, there's a 388 complex in Dallas, Texas. This person's negotiating with the sellers. The deal pencils on paper. Dan underwrote it and discovered that there's 80% Section 8,
Ooh,
which HomeInvest doesn't do.
ooh.
The question is per your other comments about the land, would you be interested in putting your own money into a deal like this?
No, absolutely not. Section 8, too risky. We don't know what the government's going to do about Section 8 in the next 3 to 5 years. Specifically when, I can't think of his name, and I love the guy. Oh, the guy's running head of HUD right now. He's saying, like, listen, Section 8 is going back to what it was, which was a bridge, not a lifestyle. And so, yeah, no, my money is not going anywhere near Section 8 housing.
Next one, for a new investor, would you point them towards looking at HUD assumable with income restricting rules like LIHTC, TXAP, FAF regulated housing?
Those are very complicated, very complex deal structures that you take a look. I'm not scared of those, by the way, just so you understand. Assuming a HUD and looking at the lifetime left on those restrictions is like a total conversation that needs to be had. You can't just cut pieces of it apart and say, oh, I'll do it because it's a HUD, or I'll do it because of this, or I'll do it because of that. It really needs to be globally looked at, and we have to take a look. Assuming a HUD is going to give you great rate right now. Probably if it was, back in 2000 loan or 2001, it could be as much as a 2.25% interest rate. So it could be a very good situation. But again, situation by situation by situation, you have to look at that. And right now, Texas is very scary in and around any kind of tax breaks going on because of what's shaking out there.
Next one, going back to the broker conversation, how can we show the broker both experience and honesty when speaking with the brokers and the intent of partnering with HomeInvest for the acquisition when we're brand new to the program?
That's super simple. Listen, you just said it in your own question. Read that question again about experience and honesty, blah, 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 blah. Tell them, hey, listen, I'm the new guy on the block. I do not have a lot of experience in this. I'm bird dogging all these deals. This looks like it's great. However, I partner with a group of people that do these transactions all the time. As a matter of fact, they just took down a $122 million deal in Atlanta. I'd love to get us all connected. I think this deal will work. Honesty. Listen, sometimes when you're working with people and you're open and transparent like that, they'll have mercy on you, right? I'm a student pilot again. I used to be a pilot and I lost it because of health reasons. But literally, when I'm out flying by myself and I'm doing what's called soloing, right? On the radio, I'm calling, North County traffic, blah, 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 student pilot solo. So people are like, oh, okay, he's a new guy. Let's go easy on him. Do the exact same thing. Hey, listen, this is the first time I'm flying solo, so if I sound a little rough, this is why I'm a new guy on the block. I know what I'm doing. We got a team of people that know what they're doing. Honesty and transparency is the best thing.
Chris, next one, I'll get two more and then we'll let you be free. Okay. The first one, net operating income is 2.183 million.
Yep.
2.183 million.
Yep.
This is a Colorado deal, Aurora, Colorado.
Yep.
Built in the 1970s, 72% occupancy. It has a loan on it for 46 million right now. Would you be interested in this?
No,
one?
That's a $32 million deal all day long. 32 and a half. No, the loan's too much. I'd have to take a haircut. Remember?
Oh, your audio cut, Chris. Your audio cut out.
Uh-oh, is that better?
You're good now.
All right, perfect. It's got $2 million in NOI, right? And it's got a $42 million loan. And how much do they want for it?
it's a $46 million loan. Seller is willing to stay in the deal and get creative and all that kind of stuff.
Well, how much
Equity
are they
save
asking?
kind of
If it's
deal.
got $2 million of NOI,
They would need to get the 46. Someone needs to come in and take over the $46 million loan.
yeah, but what are they asking? 300 million for the property?
They're asking for basically like an Atlanta deal. Come in, take over the loan, and bail me out long term.
It's about a
So,
$32 million property.
so Chris, maybe you could explain what to do with the note. So the note's obviously overpriced. How does that note have to be restructured to make this palatable for a buyer?
Yeah, okay, so listen, I was able to do that math so quickly because I have like a rough guide in my head. For every $100,000 of NOI, the property's worth $1.6 million at a 6.5 cap, right? So that property, since it's got $2 million, is a 32, somewhere between 32 and $33 million property. You've got a $42 million note. Now, like, this it's very hard to just explain in a very short period of time. There's a lot of information that I need beyond that. In other words, is it at very low occupancy right now? Is that why that the NOI is so low as compared to the note? Has it been poorly managed? Yada yada yada. Let's say it's at 80% occupancy. It's just the market is falling apart or whatever. You literally have to go back to the lender and ask them to take a haircut, or what they can do is they can restructure the primary loan to give you the first loan at like $32 million and then a hope note of the balance of the last 10 million or 12 million. I don't remember if it was 42 or 43 million, and take that and put it at the sale of the property so that you're not paying interest on it. And that hope note has to go actually behind your pref equity stack. But it can be negotiated and it can happen. It just sounds like that this is a bad situation, man, because you can't 32 million, man. You're dying on that. That's 200,000 in NOI. The note, the costs on the note, the debt service. That's a bad. It's bad. It's just bad. It's bad.
If the lender was open to that restructuring, would you be interested in that deal?
You're asking me to make a decision based on one factor. I'd have to know more about the property. I would have to be interested in the deal and then go back to the realtor. In order for me to be interested in the deal, it's got to be in a red zone, right? In a red city where Republicans control. There's no BS. I need a landlord-friendly environment. I need that population growth. I need job growth. There's a whole bunch of factors that go into the acquisition of a property. And then the bottom line is I need to be able to pray about it. I need God to tell me to move forward with it.
Chris, I'll get details offline for that one for you.
Bet.
And then last question, and then we'll let you wrap however you want to wrap. Chris, can you tell us the story of the miracle? Does it involve Atlanta?
What miracle? What miracle are you referring to? Is there any more information?
The miracle that took place last week to make a deal happen.
You've got to understand something. When I say I pray about everything before I transact, it's the God's honest truth. And this deal in Atlanta, I prayed about from the very, very beginning, and I was told to go and get it, and that was it. I was told to go and get it. And as Mark talks about with Jesus walking across water, Jesus told me to meet him in Bethsaida, and I knew God was waiting for us in Bethsaida. And what I mean by that is that there seemed like every roadblock was put up in front of us. Everything from people showing up with liens to, we had an investor back out that had promised a significant amount of money to get the deal closed through a 1031 exchange that fell apart. I mean, in everything. And And it took a lot of personal effort and personal finances to get this deal closed. And miracle after miracle and person after person showed up to make it happen. The more I prayed about it, the more they showed up. And I was dealing with people who were very angry and very upset with the lien process, and they just kept piling on and piling on. And I told each and every one of them, what was going on and what we were doing with this property and why we were doing it. And I prayed about it and prayed about it and prayed about it. And these people that were just attacking me and coming at me and coming at me, I just kept having the conversations and kept having the conversations. And I kept watching all of these opportunities for antagonism turn into opportunities for me to talk to him about God and what God had done in my life and what God was doing with this business and the efforts that we were making. And I watched each and every one of their hearts soften. And I watched his love wash over people. And I watched things change and attitudes change and people saying, yeah, I want to be part of this miracle. And people allowed us to rewrite debt structure and rewrite liens and all kinds of things. So the miracle was God revealed himself one more time in my life. Like he hasn't done it 1,000 times before. And it was just so absolutely amazing and so beautiful that God uses a wretch like me to make these things happen. It allows me to watch him do it, man. It's absolutely unbelievable. Miracle after miracle after miracle. And I want to close with this, and I say it all the time. God loves me enough to allow me to witness this on a daily basis. And I think he allows me to do that because I truly seek his will on a regular, like every morning. I'm here to tell you that God doesn't love me any more than he loves you. And he doesn't love you any more than he loves me. And if he's willing to do that with my life, imagine what he's willing to do with yours. He'll fill the desires of your heart if you seek his will. I promise you. God bless you. Thank you all for being along with us on this journey. Hope to see you next time. God bless.